Hello, everyone. Welcome to my classroom. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I just wanted to go live really quickly to talk about some of the cons I now face with having independent students in addition to the companies that I work with. Today is Tuesday. I typically teach my independent students on Tuesdays and Fridays. So I'm just thinking about how long my Tuesdays and Fridays are now that I have independent students, that I have so much to do for after I finish teaching. So on Tuesdays, I typically teach with Education First, and I also teach my independent students. So I find that when I'm finished teaching with Education First at 9 a.m., I'm typically finish everything as far as feedback by 10 o'clock, but I have so much to do for my independent students after I'm done teaching with Education First. Thank you so much for joining me. Brains, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Thank you so much for joining me. So I just wanted to talk about how I find that I do have cons in having independent students, although it is a good thing to have students that I teach outside of the companies that I work with. It's also some things that I see that adds to my agenda and have me do a lot more work. So I just wanted to share what those things are with you. So I think that I find that I put more pressure on myself now that I have independent students because I have so much that I like to offer to my parents. I offer my parents an ACFR, which is just a after class feedback report. And that just tells the parents what all the children does in the class, how they perform, and some things they may want to focus on in the future. I also provide them with an agenda so they can know what exactly we're going to work on the next class. And I try to offer them some resources so that they can come to the next class prepared. So again, those things are very time consuming. Hello, thank you so much for joining me. So another thing that I like to provide for my parents is I also record all of my classes in Zoom. So we take our classes in Zoom, but I also record those classes so they can have access to those classes. I have a link to my YouTube channel. I'll give them the link and they can view the classes after we're done teaching. So I like to do that to give my parents an idea of how their child performs in the class, and they can pose whatever questions they have to me via email or what have you. So that's one of the cons, having so much to do after I'm finished teaching with Education First in the mornings. So typically on Tuesdays and Fridays, my teaching day doesn't really end until around 2 o'clock p.m. And another one of the cons for me that I've noticed is, as you can imagine, creating the curriculum is very time consuming. So I have different courses that I offer to my parents. I have a 15-day course, I have a 30-day course, I also have a 10-day course. And I try to do like small courses just to give the student the opportunity to see if they even like my teaching style. So I offer these different courses. So depending on the course that they choose, I have to create that course. I don't try to create a 25-day course in a day, but it does take a lot of time. So the rewarding part, I will say, is I can create the courses to be as academically rewarding for my student as I possibly can and engaging. But again, it takes a lot of time to create these curriculum because I will say that I am a little bit of a perfectionist. So I like to make sure that I'm not having the material is not monotonous and my students not going to get bored, but I want to keep them engaged and enjoying the lesson as much as possible. So those are two of the cons. Having so much to do at the end of my teaching day and creating the curriculum, as well as another con that I find that I face is feeling underpaid. I think with any form of teaching that we do, we will feel underpaid. Because I do provide so much to my parents, but I'm also a parent as well. I don't want to overwhelm my parents with my pricing, but at the same time, I do want to be compensated properly and fairly. So those are some of the cons that I've been facing now that I have independent students. Again, it is very rewarding and it's very freeing being able to teach my own material and trying to transition from Education First curriculum or Zebra English curriculum and just being able to teach the material that I want to teach in the way in which I want to teach it, make it as academically rewarding and fun for my student as possible. I did teach my independent students this morning. And I find that on Mondays prior to Tuesday, when I have to teach my independent students, I find that I get a little overwhelmed. I'm constantly checking my curriculum, making sure that I didn't miss anything, trying to dot all my I's and cross all my T's. So I do put a lot of pressure on myself with my independent students that I don't put on myself with the students that I have with Education First. Again, because I like to make sure that I am providing my students with a great experience every time. And I want to make sure that I'm giving my parents what they are paying for, which is a great lesson for their children. So those are some of the cons that I face with having independent students. I will say I won't change that. I will continue to seek out independent students. I really enjoy being able to teach from my own curriculum. I enjoy making the curriculums for my students. It is kind of time consuming, as I've said, but at the same time, I do really enjoy being able to teach my own materials. Just doing some, finishing up some work for my independent students, and I was realizing how extended my Tuesdays and Fridays are with having independent students. I wanted to come and share with you what those cons are for me thus far. So thank you so much for joining me. You too. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your names, but thank you so much for joining me. If you are watching this video after the live, thank you so much for watching and clicking on this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.